Well, and then in 2009, you go to the Orlando Magic.
Yeah.
How's that experience?
The greatest. Let me go back a little. Just my time in Houston was great. There's some wonderful teammates. T-Mac is till this day is like a big brother. I'm older than him, and he's like a big brother to me. A guy I play ball with, Mike Jane, I play AAU ball sometime with. He was on my team. Just all these guys, Chuck Hayes, a lot of us that play in that Rocket team, we're still good friends to this day. So I had the time of my life playing with Houston. We won 22 games in a row, which was unheard of. Now, a couple of years later, people are doing that like it's nothing. But then I get traded to Orlando. So I go from one title contending team to another one. And these players were predominantly all veterans, Rashard Lewis, Hedo Turkoglu, Tony Battie, Anthony Johnson, Michael Petrus, all these guys. Then we had some youngsters that were, trying to find their niche in the league. JJ Redick, what's my other guy? Courtney Lee. So yeah, some guys, and then I had my boy, man. He's a coach now, Tyronn Lue. We just had some guys that they was phenomenal men that welcomed me with open arms, man. And I get back to play for my coach that I played for in Miami, Stan Van Gundy, who allowed me to run his team and when he became a first year coach in Miami, who believed in my ability, who gave me all the opportunity and all the minutes in the world to get the 6-year deal with Toronto. He allowed that to happen by playing me as much as he played me in doing that. So I'm playing for Stan Van Gundy. I reunite with Stan Van Gundy, and I already know the offense. And I'm with another big-time big man. I go from playing with Yao Ming to playing with Dwight Howard. So I know how to throw the post pass. I know how to get him the ball. Man, we end up going to the finals, man. And I've never seen a city so electrified as Orlando was when we were playing in the NBA. That whole run from the time I got there to the NBA finals, man, those fans were phenomenal. That organization treated me like I was a champion, man. Even till this day, the Orlando Magic reaches out to me and invites me to games, invite me to come up and be a part of the Orlando Magic till this day.
Well, I mean, like you mentioned, the Magic was on fire that year.
Yeah.
So you guys are going through the season, you guys are killing it, and then you get to the playoffs.
I know where you're going.
You know where I'm going with this. The Eddie House slap.
That you know slap. What, Vlad? Till this day, I'm gonna give you a funnier story after I tell you this one. So Eddie House situation, till this day, has to be one of the dumbest things I've ever did in my career. He was killing us, and then he makes a shot as I'm closing out. And I thought Eddie said something slick to me after he's about to run down the court after he makes a shot, right? So my reaction and reflex, I just, yo, man, go ahead, man. Go down the court. Right when I did it, he's in my face. Even though I'm being macho, saying something back to him, in my head, I'm like, I just effed up. In my head, I'm like, oh my God. So we shower up. I'm coming out the locker room. He's coming out his locker room. I said, here it go again. So at this time, I'm like, well, if he wants to do something, then it's going to go down. I really ain't trying to go there with him because in my head, I'm like, I know they about to hit me with a suspension. I just screwed up. He's saying something to me. I'm like, yo, Ed, go ahead your way, Ed. Now, keep in mind, before all that, me and Eddie was cool. One time I was playing in Milwaukee, he came to, we played against each other. We ended up hanging out one night out there. I'm like, yo, man, Eddie, cool, he cool. So it was the dumbest thing in the world till this day. I get that, everybody asks me about that. So I tell everybody, the dumbest, craziest thing I ever did, that was. Few years down the line, I'm coaching an AAU team in Vegas. I get to the gym early with my team. It's a game ahead of us, so we the next game on this court. This little team comes in, sits right next to us, right next to me, everything. A guy said, hey, little fella, you know who you sit next to? So I look, I said, hey, what's up, man? I'm thinking he's going to tell the kid, what? Hey, you sit next to Skip to Malou. That's what I'm thinking. He's like, man, look at that man again. I'm like, well, how does man keep telling this little kid to keep looking at me? The guy goes, you don't know who that is? The kid goes, no. He says, that's the guy who slapped your dad. I damn near jump out my seat. I'm like, no, don't tell that kid that. So I put my hand around the kid and said, listen, man, me and your dad is cool. Your dad is a phenomenal basketball player. We're cool. Making sure so he showed up, man. The kid ended up going to Arizona State like his dad, been playing at Arizona State, just like his dad. Because the kid become a phenomenal basketball player, man. But that's right there. I'm like, why did this man tell this kid that I slapped his dad?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing about that slap, because, I mean, people get hit, slap, punched, whatever. But I think the optics of it, when you actually saw like the headband kind of rotate.
Yeah. Everybody says his headband shifted. But also,
the headband actually shifted, right.
But everybody, I could kill too, because Eddie came back and killed me on his little interview on Jim Rome or whatever. I forgot he went to interview. So I'm like, that's what happens when you busting people's ass. And I'm like, all right, Eddie, you can have that one. You can have that one. Because no matter what, it's really no comeback for me anyway, because that's how it looks anyway. So I ate that one. But we ended up beating him in the series. So it was, and we beat him in Boston, which was unheard of to win a Game 7 in Boston. It's unheard of.
Right. I mean, you're talking about the post-game interview where he said, when they asked him, why do you think that Rafer slapped you? Do you know why? He said, no, I just made a shot. That's what happens when you start busting someone's ass. They get upset. Just like that and resort to Bush League tactics. We above that. We're not into that. We're just going to play basketball and keep trying to put wins on the board. So that whole Bush League thing was kind of a shot at your street ball background, I feel.
I don't know. Because at the end of the day, at this point, it's my 10th year in the NBA. So how much of a street ball guy am I if I'm in the league 10 years? See, that's the thing about when I first got in the league, that's what all the scouts and a few general managers, because most of the highlights of me was from and one days. So when I first got in the league, most of my highlights that everybody could really go to is and one days. They didn't really have it. They even skipped past my highlights in college. Right? So a lot of general manager coaches thought, oh, he's just a street ball kid until they gave me that basketball and asked me to run their team. Once they gave me that basketball and run their team, their mouths were closed. There's not much they could say. The only thing they could say is, he's got to work on his jump shot. Which, if that was the case, 400 other players need to work on theirs too. At that time, there's only about five dead-eye shooters, right? Ray Allen being one of them, Reggie Miller being the other, right? So the rest of the league need to work on theirs too. So, but other than that, man, my time in NBA, what they failed to realize was that I was just as good as all the other, most of the guards that, obviously not on some of the level as some of your perennial all-star guards, but the rest of the league I could play with on any given night, any given day.
Well, there was an article about this on Bleacher Report, and I'm not even really sure if it's true or not, but apparently it's an interview with you about that incident in terms of why you slapped him in the back of the head. And according to this article, you said, I could have sworn there was a giant insect on his headband. A real nasty
man, I didn't say that.
I was merely looking out for safety. That says a lot about my character.
Every article, every interview I did about Eddie House, man, it was always, I made the mistake, man. It was just all me. Nothing on Eddie. I thought he was having a good night, and I thought he made the last three. I thought he was about to say, because Eddie could be over 10. He make 1 3. He doing this with his jersey. Here, let's go. So that's the kind of player he is. That's what made him have a long career, because he was so confident in his ability. So I thought when he made the shot, he said something slick. We getting our behinds kicked as a team, because he's really not. He's saying he's busting my behind, but I'm not guarding him. You know what I'm saying? I'm worrying about Rajon Rondo most of the nights, most of the games, that series. So, he took a good shot at me, and he had every right to, but he took a good shot at me saying, oh man, that's what happens when you busting someone's ass. I'm like, all right. I mean, he had a hell of a night that night.